They say there's a river, vast and ancient, where the currents don't just flow, they sing. Legends whisper that these are the voices of forgotten spirits, their stories woven into the water's melody. Imagine a place where shimmering ripples echo with haunting tones, and the morning mist rises from the surface like a collective, spectral breath. It's a place that calls to the soul. And on one such misty dawn, a lone traveler, drawn by an irresistible pull, stood at its edge. They heard the river's call, a song that wasn't just heard with the ears, but felt in the heart, a song that promised secrets and demanded a journey. And so, compelled by a force older than memory, the traveler took the first step, ready to follow wherever the current would lead. The river was not just an obstacle. It was a test. The traveler knew they had to cross to reach the other side, but the path was veiled in mist and song. With each step closer, a new melody would rise from the depths, and with each melody, a new trial would begin. The first song was a soft, familiar lullaby. From the swirling currents, apparitions began to form illusions of loved ones, their faces etched with longing, their arms outstretched. They called out, their voices laced with love and sorrow, begging the traveler to join them in the water's embrace. It was a test of heart, a challenge to resist the siren call of a past that could drown the present. The traveler's heart ached, but they knew these were just echoes, beautiful and dangerous ghosts. They had to keep moving forward. As the first illusion faded, the river's song shifted. The gentle melody twisted into a discordant, aggressive rhythm. The water began to churn violently, and from the depths, massive whirlpools erupted, spiraling like coiled serpents. They writhed and spun, their watery maws promising to devour anything that dared to approach. This was a test of courage. Fear, cold and sharp, pricked at the traveler's resolve. The roaring water was deafening, the serpent-like vortexes a terrifying dance of destruction. Every instinct screamed to retreat, to find another way. But the call from the far shore was stronger than the fear. Taking a deep breath, the travelers steadied their nerves and searched for a path through the chaos, their gaze fixed on the goal, refusing to be paralyzed by the monstrous forms in the water. The songs were growing louder, Mein Stento, each one a new layer in a symphony of challenge and despair. The journey was a crucible. After the illusions and the whirlpools, more trials emerged. A song of sorrow brought a crushing weight of despair, making each step feel like wading through mud. A song of anger stirred a tempest, with waves crashing like furious fists against the banks. The traveler pushed on, their body weary, their spirits strained. 8 songs had passed, each one chipping away at their resolve. And then, as the last light of day began to fade, the river fell silent. The silence was more unnerving than the music. The water grew still. It surfaced like black glass. A deep, resonant hum started to vibrate through the ground, growing in intensity until the very air trembled. The first note of the 9th song was struck. A sound so powerful it felt like the world itself was being torn apart. From the heart of the river, the water bulged upwards. Mist and spray shot into the air as a colossal form began to rise. It was a dragon, not of flesh and scale, but of pure spirit and water. Its body a swirling torrent of currents, its eyes glowing with ancient starlight. The 9th song was its voice, a roar that was both terrifying and magnificent. The spirit dragon towered over the traveler, its presence immense, its power absolute. The air crackled. Then, in a voice that was the river itself, a voice of 1,000 forgotten souls speaking as one, the dragon demanded the truth. What do you seek beyond these waters? It boomed. Is it glory you chase? Riches. Power? To command the world. The question echoed not just in the air, but deep within the traveler's soul, stripping away all pretense. For a moment, the traveler was silent, facing the colossal spirit. They could have lied, could have spoken of grand ambitions or noble quests. But in the face of such raw, ancient truth, only honesty could suffice. Looking into the dragon's starlit eyes, the traveler found their own voice clear and steady, devoid of fear. "I don't seek glory," they said, the words carrying across the still water. "Fame is fleeting, and power is a cage. I seek only to remember, to carry the stories of those the world has forgotten." Your songs, they are not a barrier. They are a history, and I wish to be a vessel for that memory, so that the forgotten are not lost forever. The traveler's voice held no desire for gain, only a profound, sincere wish for remembrance. As the last word was spoken, a profound change occurred. The river, which had been a force of opposition, suddenly grew calm. The dragon's roar softened to a gentle hum. The sincerity in the traveler's heart had touched the river's ancient soul. The colossal spear dragon held its form for a moment longer, its glowing eyes seeming to peer into the traveler's very essence. It gave a slow, solemn nod, a gesture of acceptance. Then its magnificent form began to dissolve. The swirling currents of its body unraveled, the starlight in its eyes faded, and the entire creature dispersed into a fine, shimmering mist that hung over the water. Where the dragon had been, a path of soft, ethereal light now stretched across the river, connecting one bank to the other. It was a bridge made not of stone or wood, but of moonlight and memory. The trials were over. The river had granted passage. The traveler stepped onto the path of light, their feet feeling solid ground beneath the glow. As they walked, the echoes of the 9 songs followed them not as threats, but as companions, their melodies, now a part of the traveler's own story. Upon reaching the far shore, the traveler turned back one last time. The path of light faded, and the river returned to its placid, mysterious state. The songs, once so powerful and overwhelming, were now just a faint whisper on the wind, a gentle murmur carried by the current. The river's voice had receded, but the memory of its music, the weight of its trials, and the truth of its spirit were now etched into the traveler's soul. The journey had changed them. They carried the songs of the forgotten, not as a burden, but as a gift. The spirits were no longer lost because someone now remembered. The past was now part of the future, and so the traveler continued on, their shadow stretching long in the light of a new dawn. In the songs of rivers, the past is never truly lost. It doesn't disappear. It simply waits. It waits for a heart willing to listen, a soul brave enough to cross, and a voice ready to carry its story forward. The river flows on, endless and eternal, its shimmering currents holding countless more songs, waiting for the next traveler to hear its call. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you were moved by the story of the River of 9 Songs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep listening to the stories the world has to tell.